Got you just like I want you. Got you just where I needed you. Welcome back to the way it used to be. When it was just you and me. 'Cause I'm broken. The piano did well in there too. Like how he'd come behind her. 'Cause I'm broken. And dun-dun-dun-dun. Settle in. Throw your weight around. Settle down.
Come on and take your seat. Our burdens at your feet. If you love it, once you settle, you can settle. Come on.
Go ahead, Brother Rodney.
Our burden with you love. Once you settle,
Settle.
you can settle here.
I swear, we need to just put an instrumental on and just go in one of these podcasts.
For real though, at
Until
this
you
point.
get to Atlanta anyway. When you get to Atlanta,
At this
it's
point,
going to
true.
change.
It's going to turn things around.
When you get to Atlanta, we're gonna change gear. We're going to have worship for real. We're going to invite Josiah on, invite Lyndon over.
Good boy.
I invite KJ over and have him bring his electric drums or whatever, you know. Oh my goodness, we could really do that. Bring a keyboard with the MIDI. Oh my goodness, yeah, with the MIDI's over. Had Jared figure that mess out on the computer and the interface. Put a board on it.
And just go in.
Yeah.
Then just go in. Matter of fact, we gotta do that on a day when I just visit. Like if we plan it, I come and visit one day. We just do that. Oh man, you made it. I feel my help coming.
Where are we gonna do that? It'd have to be at the church then. Oh no, we could figure somebody's house. I'm pretty sure Elder Joe and Minister Michelle would be happy to have it at their. Well, I don't want to say that for sure. Happy or nothing. I don't know. We just have to, like I said, we just have to figure out a place to do it at. I don't think we'd have the space. Well, we could. No, we would have the space. We could do it in my living room. Yeah, invite my roommates out here to worship with us.
Come on now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That would be actually just excellent, man. Like, oh, I forgot about praise is what I do.
Classic.
Yeah. Praise is what I do. When I wanna get close to you, I lift my hands in praise. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of did sound like you were underwater.
Perfect.
And I vow to praise you.
Come on now.
Through the good and the bad, I praise you.
Come on.
Whether happy or sad, and I praise you. In all that I go through, because praise is what I do.
Do a praise the Buckhead. Someone threw a praise to France. Someone threw a praise to Birmingham.
By the way, that's when I figured out his church was based in Atlanta. Was in
No, for
that
real.
part of the song, I was like, "Is William Murphy from Atlanta?" Because like he naming parts of the city.
Mm-hmm. Give him what you owe him.
Rock, you breaking up.
No, sorry, I had to leave.
Yeah, bro, we gotta
Am I?
get you a mic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, here's the thing: is I have a mic. I gotta get the damn headphones. I'm going to the store tomorrow to buy some headphones, and so hopefully that works.
Rodney, we're getting you a mic. It's been
I
too
have a
long.
mic.
It's been too
Okay.
long. It's been too long that we've been recording. You haven't been using a mic. And no, not that USB mic either. No, we're gonna get you an actual microphone, an interface, and we're gonna call it a day. And that's gonna
I'm
be
gonna
it.
go in your face.
Really,
I'm going in your face.
Rodney. Before the
Yeah.
throne
Before the throne.
is where we come to offer praise and seek wisdom.
That is
You
true.
have torn the veil that separates. No more outside. Now in your grace. Before the throne. Oh my goodness. Just going down the list of Shekinah Glory songs now.
That's exactly what it sounded like. Exactly what it sounded like.
I mean, listen, like I said, that's just it's that's they look, they are just great. And one thing I love about Shekinah Glory Ministries is they're a ministry that said we're not attached, we're not a church's ministry per se. That was made to be a ministry that was basically like kind of separate from any one church that traveled around and worshipped.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I really
No,
do.
that's dope. That's good.
And I have aspirations, and I have a vision to kind of do the same thing. I think I told you about this before. I said it on the podcast before. I even posted it on Facebook at one point, and then someone told me, "Oh, you might better be careful because they might take that the wrong way in your church." And I'm like, if they take that the wrong way in my church, then that's a whole separate problem in itself.
That pretty much is. That pretty much is.
Yeah. Should no one have a problem with you wanting to worship the Lord outside of the church building? Not saying I'm not worshiping in here and coming to service. I'm saying I want to do something separate from this as well to be able to travel around and reach people. Like this, come on, worship and evangelism. Come on.
Right, because then the word said to go to all the nations.
Yeah, bro, your mic is bad. Whatever you're using.
Oh man, wait, hold up. It sounds bad.
Wait, bad. That's what just came out of your mic.
Because I was eating. Leave me alone, Mike. Leave me alone.
Bro, it's changing every 2 words. Like the.
Hold up. Give me 1 minute. Hold on.
My soul is thirsty. My soul is thirsty for you. My soul is thirsty.
Check, check, 1 2. Check, check, 1 2.
Thirsty for you. It sounded fine that time.
Yay.
As the deer is thirsty for the water, so does my soul long for thee. My spirit needs refreshing. Oh God, thirsty, thirsty for you. I swear this
Yeah.
is definitely a Christina episode.
Ain't it though? It really
Yeah,
is. It
yeah.
really is. We miss you.
We want to get her back on for a couple guest appearances, guys, but we haven't really been able to get in contact with her.
Don't worry. She'll be back.
She got life doing life stuff, I guess.
But we'll always keep her covered in prayer.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely keeping her in prayer lifted up before the throne.
Lift him up.
Speaking of lifting, you're the lifter. You're the lifter. You're the lifter of my head. Am I going to be the only one doing this? Feels like
Maybe.
it.
Maybe.
What are we talking about today?
Well, I thought you had the list out.
We've been like singing for the last 12 minutes. Rodney, I don't know if this list is applicable. I thought you said you did stuff.
I did, but it's not well thought out. Like it
Oh,
was just topics. Like it's not like outlines. If that makes sense. It's like ideas that I had, but I didn't like outline it, so it's not organized. Unless you just go off the head and just talk about it.
I don't know. Rodney, what have you learned this year so far?
What I learned about this year so far.
Not bouts, but what have you learned this year so far? Whether that be
Hmm.
from the actual word itself, through experiences, what?
Hmm. What I've learned. Get money. Not playing. Honestly, I'm really learning about. Well, this year is starting to show me a little bit more about.
Get money.
Nah, because I'm trying to find the perfect word to use. The the issues of overthinking.
Talk about it.
I um when it comes to overthinking, I felt this, the year just started, but I really found myself really overthinking these past few weeks, and it's really been draining. It's really been exhausting, and it's really just really taken a toll on me where I really just wanted to give up on literally everything just because just the thought of me doing something, well, almost everything has been really mentally overwhelming to the point where I couldn't function or finish work that I was doing. And then I really found that one of the main things to solve that is to just do it without really thinking. Um, and for me to really, it's going to sound really cliche, but to let go and let God, because I found myself really in a moment of just really overanalyzing things, strategies, and moving. Well, not even moving, but just the moves that's going to I'll be doing in for like majority of this year. I really found myself like I guess over planning. I think the thing about me is like I'm really a planner, so I like to jot everything down to the T So I know where I'm going, what time I'm gonna do it, and things of that nature. And I really found myself really in a moment of analysis paralysis, and where I found myself being more anxious, doubting, well, second guessing with certain things, and it was really frustrating. And so it got to the point where it's like I really just have to, if I if I think about something, then to just do it. Um, and I really like one of the things that really encouraged me was in the word when Jesus said, "Can any of your worries add a moment to your life?"
Mm.
And then that really stuck to me because I did find myself worrying, and if we can be honest, like when you do overthink, in a sense, you are not trusting God in a situation. Because I'm putting myself, putting my hands on the wheel and wanting it to go right. I want it to go as planned, and I realized, like for a moment, that I was being God in my life, and not truly not praying to Him, not taking it to the throne of grace. Like I said, not even consulting Him. If anything, I could be honest, I excluded Him out of the plans that I was making. And when I'm starting to see like when things are falling apart and I'm falling apart and things of that nature, I'm seeing I'm overthinking. And when I'm overthinking, I'm not truly trusting God in any of my situations. So I noticed when, like I said, I'm not communicating with Him, I'm not praying, I'm not reading my word for, even if anxiety is building up, I'm not being still. I'm not looking to the word for comfort, for guidance. I'm just really just sitting there with my thoughts, which is an unhealthy thing to do when you are isolated and you're not talking to people, not surrounding yourself with accountability partners. You can really take a toll on you. So that's when I noticed in the act of the effects of overthinking for real. So yeah, that's what I was going through.
Okay.
And yeah, so I've learned to, it's okay to have a plan, but to replace that anxiety with gratitude. Just going to God, praying to Him about, and say just being honest to Him about what I'm going through and what I'm thinking, and truly trying to involve Him. So number one, I'm definitely just letting Him inside of my mind, which is kind of hard to do at times, just because I'm so self guarded. But I do realize like once I release something to Him, telling Him what I'm going through, how it feels, and how it's uncomfortable, and how I don't know how it was going to turn out. That's the first thing, but I'm being honest with Him about what I'm going through. And once I was able to be honest with Him and let Him know that I was just uncomfortable and I'm scared of these situations about what's going to happen, um, I felt better once I was able to release what was going on, like verbally expressing what I was thinking about.
All right. That's good.
What about you? What you learned in this year so far?
Uh. All right. So I learned a couple things. So I learned that it's okay to want money and pursue it.
Hmm.
I had a very unhealthy outlook on money for a long time, where I was very, oh, you got to pursue God at first of everything, and he'll money will just come. He'll provide for you. But like he gives you but like in reality, God gives you the skills and the tools to make the money.
Hmm.
Like you sitting here going, well, I'm just gonna be in the church all times, 24 hours, and I'm never gonna step out, and God's just got to give me a bunch of money. Like He's got to provide that 50 acres of land that I want. That's not how it works.
Mm.
So I had a very unhealthy and flawed look on it, and so that's one of the things I learned throughout this year so far. And the other thing I learned, I think, majorly is that ministry exists outside of the four walls of the church,
Hmm.
or five
Interesting.
walls, six walls. I don't know how your church is shaped, but outside of the church building itself, your ministry exists. In fact, that's what your ministry actually is. Yes, you're supposed to have church. You're supposed to have everything going on in there. But your prime, like the Holy Spirit's really been showing me recently that like my primary focus shouldn't be what am I going to do for church on Sunday. My primary focus should be how am I going to win these souls Monday through Saturday.
Hmm.
Because how are they going to get to the church if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing out there evangelizing and ministering throughout the week?
Hmm. Hmm. Wow. Those are honestly, I do like those two things that you have mentioned for real, because that's definitely and like if you want, I do want to just dive deeper on both subjects if we can. If not, we'll you know us, we'll let the Holy Spirit just guide our conversations and whatnot. But I do want to start off with that with the money talk. Um,
Because money
a-
talks.
that's funny. I can't stand you. So, um, when it comes to money, God, and believers, all three of those words, there's kind of a when you hear those three things together, it those get a bad rep sometimes for in culture. It gives a bad rep because it's either naming things such as either a church leader embezzled the money, or if you make $2 million, that means you did something unethically, or that you're not doing God's work if you have that much money, or the fact that let me say this: a rich person can't worship God. That's kind of like the narrative it gets sometimes. And
You know, it's crazy. I think
what's up?
everybody takes that scripture when it says it'd be easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man and get into heaven. I think
Hmm.
people take that too literally.
For sure, definitely, I definitely agree. I definitely agree for sure. And it's like it's kind of weird to say as a believer cannot be financially wealthy. Like, why is that hard to believe? A person can't gain that type of financial success without compromising their faith. Why does that sound impossible? Where I'd rather it's like they're saying you want me to be filled with faith but still financially burdened down. Or if I do have 5 million in the bank, but that does that mean I'm not worshiping? And I do think like we do have to break that myth that believers cannot be financially wealthy. I remember I was watching this interview with Tim Ross, and he had a panel of different people, and Tasha Cobbs was on there, and then how she mentioned that she stepped out on faith and she started her own sunglasses wear, and like it was kind of new for her, but it is doing well, and that was like kind of the first things where it's like just because you are a believer does not mean you have to automatically try to get your money just within the four walls of the church. Like you can still be an entrepreneur and make great money. Whereas like even for me, Mike, I was the same way. I kind of had this mentality of where it was like a tug of war between like I feel like if I was doing something outside of ministry and getting more of a financial aspect of it, I would feel like bad because I feel like I'm not doing it for God. But in the word, it was saying whatever you do, work is Colossians 3:23. It's like whatever you do, work willingly as if you're doing for the Lord and not for people.
Hmm.
So when it comes to things like God has blessed us with these gifts, these skills, and these visions to have that financial dominion. And who and you'll never know. What if you chasing your dream will draw people closer to God? Like, hey, God, you give me this vision of having this ice cream shop, but I don't. But it's not in church. You're a vessel for me. My spirit is within you. So wherever you go, I'll be there with you. If you build that ice cream shop, the people who's going to win, they're going to feel my anointing and my blessing that's on you. And that's where that evangelism is going to come in at. So just like I said, my ministry is not just not in the four walls, five, six walls of the church, but it's you going out there and making the word be known.
Exactly, bro. And like, I'm glad you brought especially the money thing. So I want to touch on the money thing real quick.
Go ahead.
The church has had such a bad rap for a long time, and we've done people of disservice with how we treat and discuss money in a lot of the church overall. There's so many times you hear of these horror stories about preachers and when it comes time to offering. And like,
Hmm.
I know you've probably heard a couple. Like, it's a common thing we hear about preachers basically telling you, "No, you got the money, give us the money," and all that kind of deal. Like, almost like
Hmm.
you're gangsters trying to extort somebody.
Hmm.
And like, nowhere in the word does it tell you to be like that. And
Exactly.
I even so the friend's house I was just telling you I was at, Rodney, the story we
Hmm.
were just having.
Yeah.
One thing I was talking to her, she said she don't go to church anymore. She said she
Okay.
believes in God, but she don't go to church. And so I asked her why. Well, she said the last time she went to church was like 10 years ago. And she
Hmm.
said the reason she doesn't go anymore
Hmm.
is because the reason she doesn't go anymore is because the last time she went, she didn't have any money to herself, with any money at all. And the
Hmm.
pastor was up there in the offering time, and everyone in her row got up to go, and she didn't.
Hmm.
And he got up there and was talking about scrape out the money in the bottom of your purse. I know you got it.
Mm.
And she said she felt so embarrassed that it's the last time she went because she said this isn't right.
Hmm.
And then I had to tell her, no, you're right. That's not right. That's not right at all. He tried to call you out in the middle of service in front of everybody because you didn't have, and he told you you do have it. Grab it from the pennies at the bottom of your purse and bring up here and give to the offering. Putting you on blast. Like, that's not
Hmm.
right. Not right at all.
Mm.
So it's
Wow.
horror stories like this that are,
Hmm.
driving people from the church and why people have a bad look at the church when it comes to money and finances. And that's why they
Hmm.
think a lot of these churches are just all money hungry. I mean, shoot, we got
Hmm.
a pastor in Atlanta. I'm not even going to say names anymore. I've gotten good at doing that now, finally. I'm not going to say names, but when there was a pastor in Atlanta who was talking about, y'all need to do this and this because I need another jet.
Mm-mm-mm. You
At one
serious?
point, yeah, you know the pastor.
Wow. Okay.
You know the pastor. But
Hmm.
yeah, like this happened, and like all the huge church down there in Atlanta,
Hmm.
and he's made it very known that he gets the church is paying for some of his stuff. Like, it is what it is. And don't get me wrong, I don't believe that it's a bad thing because pastors do so much. They're supposed to. You should be paying them. Like, that's a
Hmm.
full time job. Like, if
Hmm.
you look in the word, like the priest and all that didn't have other jobs. Their job was the work of the Lord.
Hmm.
So I do believe when you get to a point as a ministry that you can pay your pastors, that you should be paying your pastors so they shouldn't have to work, so they could
Hmm.
dedicate their entire time to being your leaders and to
Hmm.
serving the ministry.
For sure.
But at the same time, like, I also don't believe necessarily that that you should have members in the church, you know, trying to figure out how to feed their kids while the pastor is eating millions off the church.
Hmm.
There's a balance to everything. And I think that there's so many glaring problems with imbalance that it overall paints the church in a negative light.
Hmm. For sure. Yeah. It definitely does create a bad narrative, and it's like I just wish it wasn't like that. Like how you said before, like even the story you told me about the young lady and the purse, like that was really heartbreaking for real because it's like you didn't have to put them out on blast like that. You could have just simply, like I said, like even the churches I've been to, they say even if you don't got nothing, come and touch the basket. You know, you can do that. But like, I've never like heard so in my life, my 30 years on this earth, I've never heard someone say scrape the bottom of your bag. And that's like, come on, like
There's
that's
a first for
disrespectful.
everything, but I mean, yeah, man, it's mad disrespectful. But like I said, man, like some people, like, and
Mhm.
I'm not. Let me clarify. I'm not trying to get on here and bash any pastors right now. But
Mhm.
some people get up in these positions of authority and power, and eventually they forget whose house they're in.
Mhm.
Guaranteed, a lot of those people got to the point where they say this is God's house, but they treat it
Mhm.
like it's their own, and they
Mhm.
behave in a manner like they run this.
Mhm. Exactly. You know, like honestly, like that's why I'll always have respect for my pastor because he definitely does treat that like that's God's house. I'll never forget this where um the play we did just recently. Um, of course, you know, like you ever been through like a movie theater and like once you got up, you see like people left like popcorn or like stuff just on the floor in general.
Mm-hmm.
So like you know like my pastor loves this church so much. It's like he was oh my gosh, I'm just now thinking about this. See, this is how you can tell like money really is if you're truly doing God's work, like money really does not matter for real. So I remember now mind you, this is around Christmas time too. So I remember when like once everybody left, now me, you know, I'm the sound person. So once all everybody got up, we had to put all the speakers back in the pulpit so we can be ready for the next service in the morning. So I remember as I'm putting the stuff up, I'm just looking at Pastor. He got a broom in he got a broom in the dustpan. Like if people left like pamphlets or anything on the floor or any tissues, he was sweeping it up like each row. Now, Mike, you seen how my church looks.
Oh, you
So
got a decent sized ministry church.
so Pastor now mind you, like we're like the only ones there. Like the play ended like at 8 something. It's like 9:30, 9:45. So I see Pastor, he is sweeping between each pew, picking up paper, making sure everything's like good. And mind you, like it's service, so we had like a Christmas tree that's in the hallway. So he asked me to like, hey Ronnie, can you carry? I think this will look good on the like in the choir stand. Can you help me carry this? So me and him are carrying the Christmas tree on into the choir stand, and he just positioned it, making it looks good. And it's like he's looking at the carpet. You can just tell like he's really doing this for the Lord. And like he was honest with me about what he's used to making and what he's making now being at here, but he says but it's bigger than that. Like it's like he said finance is not all that, but he says I'm doing this for God, and he said I love y'all my y'all my family, y'all open me up open arms, and he's like I want to make sure I do right by this church because it's a legacy behind this church, and I want to make sure I do my part. And that's when I realized like it's bigger than finances. Like it's bigger than that because you do got some pastors out here who really do genuinely love the Lord's work.
Mm-hmm. No, most definitely, bro. Most definitely. Oh, by the way, congratulations, Maya, getting married.
Congratulations. Send me a piece of cake.
You wish I couldn't even get an in-person invite. Yeah, no, it was a very small setting. I think it was only like 30 people allowed. But yeah, man, like it is something that when you have servant leaders, Because at the end of the day, that's what you want your leaders to be like. They should be servants to the ministry. Like my leaders say that all the time that your leaders are supposed to be the biggest servants in the house.
Hmm. That's true. That's definitely true, right? Because what like didn't Jesus say like, and this me just paraphrasing, but didn't Jesus say if you want to be the greatest, then you, oh my God, what did he say? I'm I think you know what scripture trying to say, where it's like for those who lead, you'll, hold up, I gotta look this up, Mike. Um, what
I
did
know what you're
Jesus
talking
say?
about though. When he was talking about like the leaders had to be like the people that were going to be leading had to be the biggest, had to be servants.
Yeah, that, yeah, and that was the biggest thing because
Like
I
the
think
greatest of you will serve the least.
that's what it is. Yeah, because I knew it was great at least in there somewhere. But yeah, that's like a real thing because I think when they think about leadership, which is it's kind of crazy, they think if you're a person who's in power and leadership and authority, they think you have to do the least amount of work. Like, no, it's going to require more responsibility as a leader to do so because you're going to have to serve the people who you're trying to lead. Like, you're going to have to be there for them. You're going to have to encourage them. You're going to have to speak life into them, even if they don't believe it themselves. And Jesus was the greatest example of a leader. He really was like the greatest example of that. Being able to instruct, guide, and even like got to the point where he like was washing their feet. And when they were saying like no, no, Lord, I should be doing this for you. But then that just shows the misconception, even today's society, on how like a leader or quote unquote how a boss is supposed to act.
Mm-hmm.
But like no, like a true leader helps. He doesn't try to dictate them because I think that's like sometimes what most leaders who are in power what they try to do. They try to dictate instead of instruct.
I think you're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And then about the ministry part, like yeah, bro, like I really come to learn that my ministry is wherever I am. I think I said this before. Being in these houses, bro, I'm really realizing that that's where I need to be trying to minister the gospel. That's where I
Mhm.
need to be showing love. Like I have stories right now I could tell that I'm not going to tell on air of me ministering and helping people out. Some of them were like, man, like this one lady had a story that almost brought me to tears last week. It was that impactful. It got to the point where I was sitting here and I had to call Pops and I was like, Pops, I don't know, man. Like I know y'all got to deal with this, but I don't know how we're supposed to. When you start to really hear about how some of the most evil ways people can be towards each other and everything, and then you got to hear this, and then and you got to minister and pour into a person who's been done so wrong by other people. And I mean, also just hearing some of the this kind certain things exist in the world and certain evils exist, but to hear it come from somebody who had to experience it firsthand, or it happened in their
Mhm.
household kind of deal, it's like a whole nother thing because it's like it becomes a surreal moment where it's like, yo, I need to pray for you, I need to lift you up, I need to pour into you and build you, and I need to encourage you. And at the same time, it's one of those, if I wasn't humble before, I am humble now. If I wasn't
Mhm.
thankful for beforehand, I am thankful now
Mhm.
because I'm realizing how much stuff that doesn't happen in my life that's happening in other people's lives.
Mhm.
So how dare I not spread the gospel and how dare I not spread the love that he's commanded me to spread?
Mhm. Right, and that's really what ministry is. It's really spreading about the love and the grace of Jesus. Each of us we do have our own stories, our own testimonies, but even though we do have different paths, but it still leads to the same God. And so like that definitely inspired me to making sure no, like I'm still staying sharpened um to just try to be the best version of my godly self so I can help inspire and encourage like other people to stay true to their walk, but also um allowing people to have the having the ability to submit into the gospel and to truly follow.
Yeah, definitely, man. And like, it's crazy. Like, you know what, bro? This
Hmm.
season, some of the stuff I've seen, it's about to birth some music out of me, man.
I'm all here for it.
There's gonna be songs birthed out of this. Like, this is crazy. Also, unrelated, I picked up my book, my drama book the other day,
Hmm.
and the first drama I have in there, I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. This is something that Rodney needs to be a part of.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'll let you know about that when we get off air. But I got to start writing those too. Got to get back to
Hmm.
writing. Just period.
And you know what? I was gonna ask you that when we was talking earlier when I was leaving the gym. I was gonna ask you like, how's your writing going?
It hasn't. So
Well,
my
that's
thing
what I'm
is,
saying.
Rodney. No, it's not. I gotta stop saying. It's not that I don't have time. I have to make time. I have to get myself scheduled correctly. So one problem is since I've gotten this job, my work life balance has been way out of whack. Whereas before, it was way too much towards being in the church and ministry,
Hmm.
which even sounds kind of weird to say, but it was. Now it's way too centered around work and being out there. Like today, I
Hmm.
ended early, like really early actually. But there's days where I'm not getting home until like 10 p.m. And that's not how that should be working when I'm leaving the house at 9 in the morning.
Wow.
It should not be. I should not be doing 13 hours on the road. Like, and I'm not saying that I need to go out there for 6 hours, but like, for example, like tomorrow is going to be a later day. I told you I have an appointment at 12, 3, and 6. So,
Hmm.
provided all those appointments show up, I'm going to be down, and those appointments are all an hour and 15 minutes away from me. So, I am going to be out a while tomorrow.
Hmm.
But like Wednesday, I'm going to Stone Mountain. Ain't no excuse. Thursday, well, Thursday's a half day because I got a dentist appointment. And then Friday, I'm probably gonna buy some. I'm probably gonna buy some leads out towards my mom's house so I can stay out there,
Okay.
out that way, and then go back to her place afterwards. But regardless of the case, like I need to make sure that I have a balance when it comes to work, and I'm not just like pouring everything into the job.
Hmm.
Like I gotta have some balance because I need to be writing. Like I do. I'm having songs pop in my head at random moments, and it's like, oh, well, I need to write this down. I'm driving.
Hmm.
I'm on my way to a house, or I'm pulling up on a house. Well, if I'm pulling up on a house, that is what it is. But like, I
Hmm.
just
I feel you.
work life balance, bro.
Yeah, trust me, bro. It's gonna happen. Not only the music that is gonna be, not only the music that's gonna be birthed, the books that are being written, the dramas that are being written, like, but also the discipline it's gonna take to balance that as well, and the habits it's gonna take to actually sit down and create and produce what God is downloading inside of you. Like I truly trust and believe like that's gonna happen for sure.
Amen. Definitely. Goodness, is that all today?
Hmm.
What do we title this? What have we learned today?
Yeah, right. Life
Lessons for
lessons. I
this
don't
year.
know. First quarter lessons. First quarter lessons.
Is it the first quarter? We're still in the first quarter. The first quarter isn't over until the end of March.
Mm, lessons thus far.
I guess. Lessons 2 months in.
Hmm. Lesson 2 months.
All right, we're doing too much.
Don't we always?
Yeah. Well, coming at you from WKX 69, this is Big Mike and Rodney. Rodney will be getting a new mic soon. We hope you
Yeah,
all
man.
enjoyed. Rodney, tell them where they can find us.
Yo, guys, what's up? Y'all can definitely find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. And then you can also follow us on TikTok as well. And when it comes to any questions, any topics y'all think we want us to talk about, you can definitely hit us up on our Gmail at _ the Godman Podcast at gmail.com.
There's no underscore. It's just the Godman
I thought about
Podcast.
that as soon as I said it. Hold up, I'm so used to doing the advertisement part. You can follow us on Man, just forget about the whole underscore. Just follow us at the Godman Podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah, where you can send us messages. What would you like to hear? What would you like not to hear? Like Rodney's bad mic.
Or for Michael's braids not to be too tight.
They're not. In fact, they're not. These locks aren't tight enough. They're not. I don't know if they're gonna last a month. Um, but yeah. And also, also you, social media guy. I've had complaints from other people listening now, different from the mic people, talking about, hey, y'all don't really do anything on Instagram anymore. It's just Facebook. And I was like, oh, I don't know that. I don't do the media. I'll bring it up to the right person.
Don't worry. There's gonna be more soon. Matter of fact, not even soon. There's gonna be more after this. There's gonna be more after this.
And I take responsibility partially too, because I need to start making videos, short clips for you.
Mm-hmm.
I only do 3.
Nah, it's cool. Like, don't worry. More is coming. More is coming.
And with that, we will see y'all next week. Toodaloo.
Arrivederci. Okay, so what was that you wanted to